Hello friends, welcome back. I am so glad that you're here. We are going to be working on our Sparkle More quilt along today. I know that I said that we're going to have another video before we started this one, and guess that didn't happen. Which is okay. I was worried about it last week and I just decided to let it go because I already had too much stuff going on last week. So thanks for your flexibility. We are going to be working on Sparkle More today. I had some thoughts though about cutting, but I wanted to talk to you about it before it left my brain, as most things do. There it goes. So typically at the beginning of a quilt pattern, you'll see how many cuts of what measurements that you need to make from each fabric to finish this whole quilt top, right? This one is set up a little bit differently. You only get increments when you start a new block. So it tells you what fabrics you'll be using and what sizes you need at every block. So you have to go through the book to know. That does not mesh well with my brain. I want to know what I need. And even though I may not cut it all from the get-go, I'll do it in chunks so that I'm not spending forever cutting, I'd like to at least know the end goal, what is the total. So I actually went through the whole pattern and made a note what fabric I'll be using, what size I need, and how many. So 3 3/8, I need 21 squares of this color, and then I need 2 4.5 inch squares. Does that make sense? So that I can visualize. But I also think too, it's helpful when you're cutting your width of fabric to know what you need. So for the very first one, I did boy blue first. So we've got some different sizes here, but there's not a lot of each size. So I cut a 4.5 inch strip, a 4 inch strip, and a 3 3/8 strip. I probably could have cut 2 3 3/8 and a 4.5 and cut the rest that I needed from that 4.5. Does that make sense? I did not need to cut every single size with the fabric because I only needed 2 4.5 inch squares. A width of fabric is kind of wasteful in that sense. So I will say, look at all these crazy scraps that I have left over from boy blue because I went, anyways. After that, that's when I decided to go count everything. If that makes sense to you, I would suggest counting ahead of time just so that you know what to cut. So for this one, I don't need a lot of squares out of this strip, but I know that I can cut my remainder pieces out of there. So it still did leave a lot left over. So there's my denim. And here's my white so far. I still haven't cut for the stars yet. So I think our pieces were more than we needed, but I guess that's okay too. Hopefully that made sense and that wasn't just jibber jabber. And then this one calls for a lot of 3/8 or an 1/8 or 7/8. And so these are those times where I'm like, why can't we just round up to the whole inch instead of a 7/8? Why can't we round up to a 1/2 inch instead of 3/8? But here we are making it happen. So for those of you that may not be comfortable with the 8ths, because they don't come up that often, 3/8 is the little dash mark in between your 1/2 inch and your 1/4 inch. So hopefully this fabric will help you see. So these are my 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. It's these little babies in between those 4ths that are your 8ths. So lovingly, because my husband watches these and he'll get a laugh out of it. So if we need 3 3/8, that will be 3 inches and a 1/4 plus a tick mark. That's sometimes how I read a measuring tape, and he loves it. I know he does. So there's kind of a quick cutting help if that's where you're at in this process. It's a lot easier for me just to write it down and to decide how I'm going to cut that width of fabric to decide what I can get from it. Okay. All right. Let me finish cutting these whites and then we will jump into our first block, which is this cutie block right here. Let's do this, friends. And there we have it. Clean board, clean table. I've got my cut piles nicely tucked back there. this is going to take up a lot of space. So I'm hoping that we can see here. We are working on block number 1. This one is called Glow. I'll be sure to put that into the description so that we know which block is which. We're going to be making rows. My brain wanted to do a 9 patch first in the middle of this one because I see that inner square. Do you see 9 patch? Do you see that? That's what my brain wanted to do. We are not going to be starting with a 9 patch and then adding 2 because we're making these actually in a diamond shape. So by the time we put this together, it's not going to be square. Let's start with the first row. We've got a white. Okay, I know you can only see part of that, but I need it to go that high because I think we're going to fall off still anyways. So we've got navy, white, navy in our first row. And then we've got denim and boy blue. Then we've got our 2 navies on the outside. Underneath that, we have white, boy blue, denim, boy blue, white, and then again, navy on the outside. Phew, we are going to be cutting it close. Then denim, boy blue, both of our navies, and then our last one will be our white and 2 navies. So we will have leftovers. I still have 2 navy squares for this one, but we are not going to be putting those on until the very end. We're going to get all of these rows sewn together, and then we're going to add these later. It's kind of a funny little process, but we'll get through it, I promise. So let's just work on that. Remember, 1/4 inch seam allowance. That's a big deal right now. I even have, well, my mother-in-law bought me a new foot with a little edge guard for the 1/4 inch, because even when I practiced that black one down there at her house, like she had to like walk me through it because I was panicking a little. The edge guard was really helpful. I feel like I'm pretty good at eyeing a 1/4 inch seam allowance, but that made me like spot on. And I feel like it made it come together a little bit easier. So do you have to have one? No, but if we can have a little help, would it be nice? Yes. So let's sew all of these rows together. So we've got this strip, this row, big middle, little, okay? And then we will talk about ironing. So don't iron quite yet until we get back together, okay? Here we go. And there we have all of those rows put together. So now with ironing, I feel like typically I would iron these seams open, but we really want these rows to nest. So pick a direction, but you just need to make sure that the next row is opposite from the previous row. So let's say I'm going to iron these seams over to the left. That means I'm going to iron this row with my seams over to the right, making sure that they're going that opposite direction so that those seams can lock, because we want these squares and those corners to line up as best as we can. And this is the easiest way to do that. And just repeat that all the way down. So this row to the left, this row to the right, and then last this row to the left. Okay, let's get that far, and maybe we'll talk about nesting a little bit more. Maybe I'll just show you that locking because it's so satisfying. So let me iron and we'll catch up. And there we have our rows all nice and ironed. So what's really great about this one is we have a taco cat. Meaning it's the same front ways as it is backwards, right? So even if you were to iron all your seams one direction, but you accidentally put it backwards, it's the same pattern, so you can just rotate your strips. So I'm not going to say that we're going to have that luck throughout the whole pattern, but we could. So maybe if you got it mixed up, just try rotating your strip and so that your seams are opposite. Let's just do one together and then I'll magic through the rest of this block. But here is our nesting. So I've got these seams going this way and I've got the next row seams going opposite. So we are going to stack these in the middle. So we are going to line up these navy blocks with our denim here. They are not going to go to our ends. So here's already where things are different than what we typically do. So I am going to nest those seams. You can see the denim underneath with the baby blue. It's going this direction. And then our navy and our white are going this way. I'm pretty sure I've already flip-flopped them. So do as I say, not as I do. But ultimately, they still lock. We'll just have to adjust for the rest of the block. We want that nesting. And it's going to feel funny starting a seam in the middle of our block here, because we're going to have to start a seam through this block, then we're not sewing anything together. All is well. This is how we do this. Make sure those are locked, and when you get to that point where you've got a stitch over this nested seam, take a break, grab the next 2 squares, nest those, and then continue sewing through. This is a big one for nesting. I know that I talk about it a lot because I love it so much, but this is a big one for this pattern specifically. So let's get this seam at least started. Take out my little scrap here, leaders. Get that about, I've got like a 1/2 inch away from where this navy block starts. That way the end of my stitch is not at the end of this fabric. If we can keep it strong, then why not, right? Okay, so I've hit my first nested seam. Now we're taking our little break here. We're going to realign this nested seam and then run off the edge of this extra square here. Hello, little friend. So there's what my seam looks like. We've got it going off the edge on both sides. We will be trimming, so you won't see it. But then when we open up, we can see that we've got those corners pretty well lined up in there. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Not too shabby. All right, we're going to continue that process. We're just going to keep adding rows. Just make sure when they go right sides together, rotato potato, that our seams are going opposite so that we can nest. There we go. There's a happy little nesting sandwich. Let's catch up at the end. Okay, all of my rows are sewn together and I have even ironed the back. I chose to iron all my seams open. I think this is personal preference, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. But here we have our diamond. Kind of cool, huh? So I will say you are going to have funny little iron marks here at the edges, obviously, because there's nothing to iron that away from. It will get trimmed down and it will look normal, but right now it does not. All right, here's where our last 2 background squares come in. We're going to fold these in half and just like hand press it so that we get a good line in there. And then we are going to fold our block in half. So we want to find that halfway mark so that when we put these on here, they're as centered as they possibly could be. So, and as I'm looking at this, my block is crooked. So this is why folding is important. Even with all of our good intentions of nesting and trying to line everything up and take our time, it still came out a little crooked. So good thing perfection is not the goal, or else this girl would be out of the job. Okay, so this is why it's important to fold and not just like eyeball it. So I'm going to do my best to line all of these edges up here. Hand press again. And the good thing about this being a solid is it doesn't matter which side you sew on, but I like to fold them so that they sit on top of each other, because my hand folds almost like line up and nest within themselves right there. So if you had a patterned fabric or you weren't using a solid, you would just have to fold pretty sides together. Yeah, pretty sides together, and then it would sit nicely on top and nest in there as well. So let's sew each of our little squares on here at the end, and then we get to trim. If you have a 12.5 inch ruler, grab that now. If you don't, it's okay. You can still trim. The 12.5 inch ruler just makes it a little bit easier, well, a lot of it easier. So your call. I'll see you in a sec after I sew these on. There we have our ends on. Good thing my magic organizational fairies are here because, you know, that just like appeared in my arm. How crazy. Okay, here is the most satisfying part. We get to trim this square down. So we're taking it off of that diagonal here, and we're gonna plop this 12.5-inch ruler right in the middle. I'm going to do my best to kind of wiggle this around to make sure I get my 1/4 inch around each of these points. Again, mine ended up a little crooked, and it's okay. So I can see right here for this white one, everything is lined up pretty well, except for that one. Oh, and this one too, but this one's fine. So it's like, don't be too crazy about it, okay? Give yourself some grace. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. But I want to make that 1/4 inch because that'll help us to try to keep this block square by working for that 1/4 inch all around on these points. It'll at least be square with itself, if that makes sense. So I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I feel like I've got a good gap all the way around. I still think we'll lose that point when it comes to putting our blocks together, but I'm okay with that. Pressure in the middle so we can cut, and we trim 12.5 inch. I have a rotating mat and it would probably be helpful right now, but I don't think it's big enough for this block. Okay, we're gonna flip to this side, line our ruler up with our nice fresh cut edges, and repeat up the side and across the top. And there we have our first block. Isn't that cool? Well, it's cool now that I know how to do it, but at first I didn't think it was cool. It made me panic a little. But I'm actually really excited that we're learning this one together because this is pretty neat. And there is block number 1. Again, this one's called Glow. This is going to be a super cute quilt, you guys. I'm just going to throw that in there. If you would like a quilt kit, I have 2 more available. I can always order more, but that's what I have on hand right now. And then I have 3 extra patterns available. For those friends that are not in the US, you ask for a digital copy, and I could not figure out how I could get you that copy without just like giving it to you. Does that make sense? So if you would like this one, go look on Etsy for Melissa Mortenson, and she will have all of your patterns there. She does have her own standalone website, but Etsy lets you purchase internationally. So that's why I'm sending you to her Etsy. She actually has a lot of really cute patterns in there. I kind of had like a heyday while I was trying to help you out with the digital pattern. So be ready for more of hers to come up in the future. So quilt kits are in the shop. I have physical copies in the shop. If you need a digital copy and you are international, then head to her Etsy. That's where you can get the pattern. I'm just sad that I can't offer you like a better price that I'm offering like in the quilt kit. So that's kind of stinky, but here we are, we're making it happen. And I think that's all for me, friends. So I will see you soon. Bye.